In behind, Parade Marshal and Outrider. Kathy Hawk, 1 Sweet and Dandy. Jeff Fout drives. Number 2, Hawaiian Rock with Dave Hawk. Number 3, Ton of Bricks, owned by Steve Moore with Mike Wilder. 4, Racing Rufus and Jim Buchanan Jr. 5 is TNT Hanover, Chip Noble in the bike. 6, Dazzle My Heart with David Miller. 7, Smoky Butler with Brett Miller. 8 is Fritzy Scooter with Randy Tharps. 9, Payne Road Scooter, driven by Brad Hanners. And 10, Cayenne Cadet, Mike Riley in the sulky. 7 minutes till post time. Field for tonight's first race is at the gate and moving through the turn. Field is in behind. Starter Andy Alberts, 7:05 and it's post time. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Ton of Bricks takes the lead. Smoky Butler on the outside. Followed by Sweet and Dandy along the rail. They're down the backstretch. Ranging up on the outside. Racing Rufus to 4th. On the far outside, Fritzy Scooter to 5th. Hawaiian Rock moves in to be 6th. Driving up on the outside from 7th, Dazzle My Heart. Out of the second tier, Cayenne Cadet, TNT Hanover, and Payne Road Scooter, 27-3. In parade, past the stands, up top at Smoky Butler by an easy length and a half. Ton of Bricks is on his heels in 2nd. Moving past the stands, Sweet and Dandy 3rd. Driving up on the outside, Fritzy Scooter 4th. Dazzle My Heart, live cover, parked every step in 5th. Followed by long shot, Racing Rufus in 6th. TNT Hanover 7th on the outside as they make their way to the half-mile pole. Up top by a length and a half, it's Smoky Butler, 56-4. Smoky Butler leads away a tight length. Ton of Bricks is 2nd, Sweet and Dandy 3rd, Racing Rufus 4th. Hawaiian Rock along the rail, Dazzle My Heart lost live cover. Driving up on the outside, TNT Hanover, Cayenne Cadet, Payne Road Scooter. And stopping to a walk tonight, Fritzy Scooter as they drive to 3/4. Smoky Butler trying to last on the front end. Smoky Butler by a length in 1, 26-1. Driving around the far turn, Smoky Butler continues to lead. Moving up on the outside just a little bit in 2nd, Ton of Bricks. Off the turn, in the stretch, they're on their way home. Smoky Butler's there by 2. Smoky Butler begins to widen. Ranging up on the outside, Ton of Bricks. Sweet and Dandy, Hawaiian Rock's got some late kick on the far outside. Smoky Butler, Hawaiian Rock up 2nd, and Ton of Bricks will finish 3rd. Result of the first race is now official. Here's the 7. Smoky Butler, a 5-year-old brown gelding by Star Butler out of Tinkerbell Lobel. Owned and trained by Hilliard Steve Chris. Driven tonight wire to wire by Brett Miller. Covering the mile here in 1:55-3 and a lifetime best. And the Sheriff strikes early in the first. 7, Smoky Butler the winner. The 7-2 exacta, $41 even. And the try, $81 even. Windows are now open on tonight's second race. Post time in 13 minutes at 7:23. No changes in the second. Race, once again, Kathy Hawk is our parade marshal for this evening's programs. Number 1, Reynolds Hanover, owned by David Velos and Monica Jane Zimmerman, driven by Dave Hawk. And want to congratulate Dave Hawk on winning today's Fox Stake with Superior Avenue. Number 2 is Top Shelf, owned by Richard Klontz, driven by Randy Tharps 3, Travelin' Bill, owned by the Rib Guys, Tom and Ted Gregory with Tim Hackett. Number 4, highly rated, owned by Darla Conklin, Jeff Fout will be aboard. 5, Jamaican Me Crazy, owned by Big Chuck Grubbs, with Brad Hanners. 6, Kyler's Mark, owned by Mark Perrin, David Miller will drive. And here is the 7, Rainmaker Hanover, owned by Scotty Ezo. Mike Wilder will be in the sulky. 7 minutes till post time. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Highly rated and Top Shelf are out for the lead. Reynolds Hanover a snug third. Followed by Traveling Bill in fourth. Jamaican Me Crazy, Kyler's Mark. And at the end, it's Rainmaker Hanover. And we're off to the rodeo in here. This will be a torrid opening quarter. Top Shelf by a head. Highly rated up on the outside. Reynolds Hanover is going to fill the gap. They're flying here. Opening up 27 flat. Racing past the stands on the outside. Highly rated up to challenge for and get the lead. Highly rated moves away by 2. Top Shelf second. Reynolds Hanover third. Traveling Bill gapping fourth. Jamaican Me Crazy, Kyler's Mark is underway, and so is Rainmaker Hanover. And Top Shelf is now back on top. Top Shelf and highly rated commanding Piddly Pock for the lead as they're at the half-mile pole. In 55 and 3, they're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Top Shelf on top. Here comes Jamaican Me Crazy with a rush on the outside. Jamaican Me Crazy goes on by Top Shelf to get the lead. Highly rated gives way to third. Still on the outside, Kyler's Mark to fourth. Reynolds Hanover in fifth. Ranging up on the outside, Rainmaker Hanover and Traveling Bill can't go on, but Jamaican Me Crazy can. He's opened up 5 in 124. Moving around the far turn, Jamaican Me Crazy commands the field with about a 5-length lead. Highly rated goes on by Top Shelf as these guys contest the trifecta turning for home. Out on top, it's Jamaican Me Crazy. Highly rated. Top Shelf still holding on gamely. Inside the final 16th, Jamaican Me Crazy. Highly rated closing back second. Top Shelf will finish third. Here comes the unofficial winner of tonight's second race, number 5, Jamaican Me Crazy, a 4-year-old bay gelding by Nuclear Siren out of Addy Hill. Owned and trained in Grove City by Chuck Grubbs. Driven tonight by Brad Hanners to a lifetime best, and it's a quick one, 154 and 2. 5, Jamaican Me Crazy, the winner of tonight's second race, and it's now official. 5-4 exacta, $83.40. The try, $351.20. 7-5 daily double, $89.60. Windows are open on the third. No changes in race 3. Post time at 7:41. Third, welcoming the St. Mary's Rotary Club. 1, Scott Owen Michael. Owned by Johnson Hill Jr., driven by Randy Tharps. 2, Best of Al, owned by Jeffrey McNabb and Mark McKnight with Jeff McNabb. 3, Armbro Nate, owned by Robert Deal, Jeff Fout. 4, Breadbox, owned by Clarence and Rhonda Gillum with Ralph Leo Grande aboard. 5, Samarama, owned by Marianne Georges, Mike Wilder will be in the bike. 6 is Market Report, owned by the Berwick Farm with Rick Dingledine. 7, Shady Rival, owned by Dan Meyer with Dave Hawk. Number 8, Pack-a-Punch, owned by Edwin Cook with Justin Hall. 9, Moonlight Rudy, owned by J.D. Burnett and the Arnold Sabin Estate with Chip Noble. 10, Daddy Shadow, owned by Quick Trick Stables, Bob Lowry, Virgil Morgan Jr., David Miller will be in the sulky. 7 minutes till post time. Here are the changes starting in the fourth race. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Armbro Nate takes the lead. Market Report is up on the outside. Breadbox between horses. Scott Allen Michael along the rail fourth. Daddy Shadow to fifth. Best of Al is up on the outside. Samarama Shady Rival, followed by Pack-a-Punch and the long shot Moonlight Rudy. Seating arrangements are complete as Market Report takes them through the quarter. Market Report on top by 2. Armbro Nate second. Solid opening panel. 27 and a fifth. In parade past the stands to the half-mile pole. Market Report for Rick Dingledine is here by 2. Armbro Nate is in the second. Past the stands, Brett's Box is third. Scott Allen Michael fourth. Daddy Shadow completes the top five in fifth as they make their way through the paddock turn. Sixth on back, Best of El Samarama, followed by Shady Rival, Pack-a-Punch, and the 9, Moonlight Rudy. They're at the half, and a crisp 56-1. They straighten out down the backstretch. Market Report bouncing along a length and a half. Armbro Nate in there second, followed by Breadbox in third. He comes to the outside, and Daddy Shadow will move with live cover. Scott Allen Michael can't go on right now. Best of Al is underway. Off the rail, Samarama, Shady Rival, Pack-a-Punch, and Moonlight Rudy. In command, he's been there every step of the way in 124-3. Market Report leads the way. Market Report, Breadbox up on the outside toward the rail. Armbro Nate on the far outside. Daddy Shadow wide open here as they straighten away. Breadbox on the outside. Market Report toward the rail. Armbro Nate. Daddy Shadow, so much to do and so little time to do it. We're down to 2. Market Report's going to hold. Market Report, Breadbox, Armbro Nate, and the 7, Shady Rival. Here comes the field for tonight's fourth race. Number 1, Tell Me All About It, owned by Genevieve Cummins, driven by Brett Miller. 2 is Scootin' Whiz, owned by the White Creek Stable with Brad Hanners. 3 is Meadowland Sam, owned by Tamara Hoovler, Randy Tharps, the reinsman. 4, Direct Bill, owned by Walter Shepner, and a driver change to David Miller. And 5 is Hercules Sabra, owned by Jerome Grogan. Mike Wilder will be in the sulky. 7 minutes till post time. Starting gate is underway. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Hercules Sabra on the far outside. Direct Bill between horses. Meadowland Sam, Scootin' Whiz up on the outside. Tell Me All About It on the rail as this quintet speeds to the first eighth of a mile. Hercules Sabra settles down on top by a length. Direct Bill's coming early, followed by Meadowland Sam. He's got to like this so far into third. The 3-year-olds are next. Scootin' Whiz and Tell Me All About It here, 27 flat. Action galore here in the Invitational. Meadowland Sam with a rush on the outside. Now sticks his nose, his head, his neck in front, and Meadowland Sam cruises to the front. Direct Bill will stay a while in the pocket second. Hercules Sabra third. Scootin' Whiz in the fourth. And at the end, it's Tell Me All About It. Around the paddock turn of the half-mile pole, Meadowland Sam, Direct Bill, and Hercules Sabra. 55 seconds flat up the backstretch. Meadowland Sam will try to last the rest of the way on the front end. Direct Bill stalking in second. Racing up on the outside, Hercules Sabra third, Scootin' Whiz fourth. Tell Me All About It fifth on the outside, leaving the 5/8 and heading to 3/4. Meadowland Sam begins to get away. Meadowland Sam by 2, but Direct Bill picks it up right now. 3/4 are flying in 1:23-1. Driving around the far turn, Meadowland Sam under urging. Right there in second, Direct Bill. The whip is already out on Hercules Sabra. Scootin' Whiz and Tell Me All About It. They're into the stretch. Meadowland Sam brings them on home. Scootin' Bill will test them one final time, but the test is over. The only test is against the clock. Meadowland Sam in 1:51-1. In the winner's circle, Meadowland Sam, a 5-year-old bay son of Nobleland Sam out of Country Deb, owned in Pataskala by Tamara Hoovler. Trained by Mike Metters, given a well-judged drive tonight by Randy Tharps. He tried to equal the track record of 150-4. He just missed by 2/5. Driven as usual by the master of I Can Make Them Go Faster, Randy Tharps. equaling his lifetime best of 151 and 1-3. Meadowland Sam, the winner. Post time for the fifth. Going to take a couple of extra minutes here because there's a lot at stake. There's over 34,000 in tonight's twin trifecta carryover pool. 34,000. Fifth race, Chip Noble driving 4, Mr. L. Folks, once again, the rundown is Tell Me All About It fifth, Scootin' Wiz fourth, Meadowland Sam the winner, Direct Bill second, Hercules Sabra third. 5-4, 1-2-3 the mile, 151 and 1. Here comes the field for tonight's fifth race, 34,000 in tonight's twin tri carryover. The pool will be well over 40,000 tonight. 1 Alexi. Owned by Jeffrey and Kevin Reed, driven by Dean Collins. 2 is Robomac, owned by Peter Stratton with Mike Wilder. 3 is Irish Falcon, owned by Mary and John Arrowwood, and the rangeman is Jeff Fout. 4, Mr. L, owned by Mark Clark, and a driver change to Chip Noble. 5, Debacle, owned and driven by Jerry Bookmeyer. 6, Sam Sir Knight, owned by Alex Pence Jr. and Michelle Omer, driven by Dave Hawk. 7, Fonda Samadhi, owned by David Up, driver change to Randy Tharps. 8, Atta Energizer, owned by Randy White with Brad Hanners. 9, Fair Nukes, owned by Steve Krish, driven by Brett Miller. And 10, Nuclear Elf, owned by Charlie and Bill Wingfield. David Miller will be in the sulky. Wager early on the twin try. 7 minutes till post time. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Irish Falcon takes the lead. Sam Sir Knight between horses. Alexi is along the rail. Here's Fonda Samadhi up on the outside, followed by Robomac in fifth. Out of the second tier, Nuclear Elf into sixth, Mr. L seventh. Debacle is eighth. Atta Energizer ninth. Fair Nukes is 10th. Pretty good clip here as they move to the quarter-mile pole, and Sam Sir Knight's got the lead. Fonda Samadhi's up on the outside in a lively 27 2/5. Field of 10. Twin tri-pacers move past the stands, and Fonda Samadhi has been hustled to the front. Fonda Samadhi from the 6, Sam Sir Knight, Irish Falcon, and the favorite Alexi. After that, it's Robomac, Nuclear Elf, Fair Nukes coming from the back of the pack with his head down. Mr. L continues to save ground in 8th. Long shot Debacle 9th, and the long shot still Atta Energizer trails. The half in 57 1. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Sam Sir Knight rolling right along. Sam Sir Knight on top. Driving up on the outside, Alexi, he's already under strong, urging second. Shuffle back, Fonda Samadhi, 3 deep on the outside. Robomac, Nuclear Elf. Toward the rail, Irish Falcon, Fair Nukes is under urging. Mr. L is next, Debacle is 9th. Atta Energizer, 10th on the outside. Hub to hub by 3/4 and 126 1 around the far turn. Sam Sir Knight fighting back. Robomac alongside. Nuclear Elf ready to strike 3 deep toward the passing lane. Fonda Samadhi. Irish Falcon on the far outside. They're into the stretch. Robomac gets the lead. Nuclear Elf on the outside. Here comes the 7, Fonda Samadhi again. It's Nuclear Elf and Robomac. Robomac wins it. Claim. Number 9, Fair Nukes, was claimed again tonight, this time claimed by Quick Trick Stables and Here's a field for tonight's 6th race. Number 1, Star Warrior, owned by Phyllis Crescente. Richard Dunaback drives. 2, I'm a Bad Man, owned by B.L. Conway with Mark Evers. 3, Fools Rush In, owned by James Shunk with Mike Wilder. 4, Bartolino, owned by Jeffrey Short. Jeff Fout will be aboard. 5, Explosive Bunny has been scratched. 6, Matt Can Do, owned by Bruz Noble. Chip Noble will have the drive. 7 is DL Sam, owned by Charles Autry with Randy Tharps. 8, Alberto Fino, owned by the Paint Creek Farms. Brett Miller will be in the sulky. 7 minutes till post. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Way to a good start. Fools Russian takes the lead. Bartolino between horses. There goes Alberto Fino up on the far outside. Star Warrior has some early kick tonight. He's coming on from 4th. I'm a Bad Man as they move midway on the turn. Matt Can Do and DL Sam. Scramble Royal here to the quarter-mile pole. Jeff Fout brings him out on top with Bartolino. Tucked in there, second. Fools Rush in there by the opening quarter. 28 seconds flat. Moving past the stands to the half-mile pole. Here comes the favorite, Under Siege. Matt Can Do on the outside, goes right to the front. Matt Can Do at 3 and a nickel, brushes to the lead. Bartolino lets him go second. He'll follow him the rest of the way. Followed by Fools Rushing around the paddock turn. Star Warrior, I'm a Bad Man. DL Sam in the trailer once again after trying to leave is Alberto Fino. They're at the half-mile pole in a soft 58. Matt Can Do has no excuses from here tonight. Matt Can Do by 2. Tracking in second, Bartolino. Here's Star Warrior up on the outside. Fools Rushing along the rail after that. The big guy, I'm a Bad Man, up on the outside. DL Sam and Alberto Fino. They're into 3/4. Matt Can Do, Star Warrior. Ranging up on the outside, second, Bartolino fighting back in 1:26 and 4. Moving around the far turn. Still in command, it's Matt Can Do by a length and a half. Driving up on the outside, Star Warrior second. Cocked, locked and ready to rock. Bartolino as they come on home. Matt Can Do leads the way. Bartolino. Fools Rush in the passing lane. Star Warrior gives way. Matt Can Do, Bartolino's coming. Matt Can Do holding on. No changes in the 7th race. Post time at 8:59. In the winner's circle, Matt Can Do, 6-year-old Basin of Matt Scooter out of Angel Be Good, owned in Cedarville by trainer Bruz Noble. Hard driven tonight by Chip Noble. The mile 1:55 and 2. Here's the field for tonight's 7th race. Number 1 is Pleasant Taylor, who's already long gone from the post parade, owned by Ned Hawkinson and Lisa Grubik with Brad Hanners. 2 is Flaming Dragon, owned by John and Vicky Howard, driven by David Miller. 3 is Our Star Lane, owned by Leonard Buckner, Jeff Fout. 4, Harley Harlot, owned by Ronnie Perry with Randy Tharps aboard. Number 5, Market Rush, owned by Phyllis Crescente, Richard Dunaback in the bike. 6, Scootin' Bill, owned by Rhonda Stidham and Linda May with Rocky Stidham. 7, Yankee BLT, owned by Paul Simpson. Mike Wilder will drive. Number 8 is Overtaxed, owned by David Niggemeyer with Darren Mauser. 9, What Am I Worth, owned by Woody Woodward with David Hawk. 9, 10, Scene 3, owned by Southern Hill Stable. Dan Ross will be in the sulky. 6 minutes till post time. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Way to an excellent start. Flaming Dragon, Flashing Speed, Market Rush between horses. Ranging up on Flaming Dragon, the 2 is off stride. The 2 makes the break, and we're back on the front end as they drive to the first turn. Darren Melzer takes over with Overtaxed. Here's Yankee BT up on the outside second. Out of the second tier, Scene 3 with Market Rush. Flaming Dragon, who scattered him, is now settled down in 5th. Solid opening quarter here of 27 and 3. Past the stands, it's Our Star Lane, the 1, Pleasant Taylor. What Am I Worth up on the outside. Harley Highlight, and the trailer is Scootin' Bill. Around the paddock turn in a tepid second quarter, Yankee BT continues to lead the way. Yankee BT on top by a length and a half over Taxine 3. Flaming Dragons out and moving again. Market Rush buried in fifth. Up on the outside, Our Star Lane. Harley, Highlight, Pleasant, Taylor. Back of the pack, Scootin' Bill. And the trailer as they hit the half-mile pole, and 57-2 is the 9. What am I worth? Up the backstretch. Yankee BT. Flaming Dragon is on the move to second. Overtaxed in third. Ranging up on the outside, Our Star Lane to fourth. Scene 3, Market Rush, Pleasant Taylor between horses. Far outside as they move by three quarters, What Am I Worth? Scootin' Bill and Harley highlighted 126-2. Field straightens away. Bringing them on home, Mike Wilder and Yankee BT. Our Star Lane is up on the outside. In between horses, Pleasant Taylor. Scene 3, What Am I Worth on the far outside. Driving finish in here. Pleasant Taylor on the far outside, and maybe the twin try will live. Here comes the winner of the seventh race, One Pleasant Taylor. 5-year-old bay gelding by Tinslater out of Winnie Tupp, owned by Ned Hawkinson and Lisa Grubik of Columbus, giving Chuck Grubbs his second victory on the program tonight. Winning driver is Brad Hanners, covering the mile here in 1:55.3. Number 1, Pleasant Taylor, the winner, doubles tonight for Chuck Grubbs and Brad Hanners. Night and Monday night's programs are now on sale. 1-9 exacta 583.20. Guy owned by Suzanne Northfuss and Jerry Summers, driven by Brett Miller. 2 is Look Maynard, owned by Alex Spence Jr. with driver Dave Hawk. 3, Bubba Gump, owned by Sausage Man Scott Izzo with Mike Wilder. Number 4, Hideo Highlight, owned by the Highlight Stable, Ron Ridenauer, Brian Brown, and Bob Runser. Driver changed to Brad Hanners. 5, Rosemont Student, owned by Verl Barrett. Lenny Merriman will be in the bike. 6, Blast the Siren, owned by Jim Davis and Mary Arnold with Randy Tharps. 7 is Armbro Rubble, owned by Donald Folkwine with Dan Ross. 8, Yo Italian Stallion, owned by Ralph Conley Jr. David Miller will be in the sulky. 7 minutes till post time. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Way to a good start. Armbro Rubble takes the lead. Italian Stallion is off stride. The 8 is on a break. They're down the backstretch. Armbro Rubble driving wide and hard, takes over from the rail guy. Come on, big guy. Here comes the 2, Look Maynard driving up on the outside. Hideo Highlight, Bubba Gump is fighting through. After that, Rosemont Student, Blast the Siren, and Yo Italian Stallion is out of this one tonight. They're by the opening quarter here in a solid 27 2/5 past the stands to the half-mile pole. Armbro Rubble leads the way by 2. Come on, big guy. We'll get a golden journey tonight. Past the stands, the white hood of Look Maynard is in the third, skimming the pylons. Bubba Gump in fourth. Rosemont Student is up on the outside. Blast the Siren, Hideo Highlight, and Italian Stallion. Around the paddock turn to the half-mile pole. Up top, it's Armbro Rubble for Dan Ross, who quickly draws off by 3 and 57-1. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Bouncing right along, it's Armbro Rubble by 4. Come on, big guy, tries to pick up the chase second. Look, Maynard can't go on. In between horses, Rosemont Student, Bubba Gump in tight quarters. Blast the Siren 3 deep on the far outside. After that, it's Hideo Highlight and Italian Stallion as they roll by three quarters in 1:24.4. Dan Ross trying to sting him has got the lead. Come on, big guy, waiting for the top of the stretch to move to the outside. Here comes Blast the Siren under an all-out assault. Off the turn in the stretch, they're on their way home. Armbro Rebel, come on, big guy, look at him right in the eyes, being flanked on the outside by Blast the Siren, but he can't go on. Come on, big guy, goes with it. Come on, big guy, whoa, real tight. 6 Blast the Siren and 7 Armbro Rebel. 7 Armbro Rebel got up second. Number 6 Blast the Siren was third, and number 3 Bubba Gump fourth. In the winner's circle is Come On Big Guy. 5-year-old bay gelding by Towner's Big Guy out of Tampa, Elmhurst. Owned in Reynoldsburg and Pickerington by Suzanne Norfless and Jerry Summers. Trained by Mike Metters. That's a couple for Mike Metters tonight. And the winning driver, Brett Miller. That's a double. The mile here, 154-1. Come On Big Guy, the winner. Windows are now up and on race number 9. Brad Hanners driving 9. Hector Spector. Brad Hanners to drive the 9. Post time will be in 14 minutes at 9:38. The exacta in the 8th. $28.40 in the try. $296.60. Hawk number 1, Dancing Tricks, owned by Brent Davis. Dave Hawk drives. 2 Heat Resistant, owned by Verl Barrett, and the driver is Lanny Merriman. 3 Stony Ford Ken, owned by Kelly Darrow and Eileen Bainter. David Miller, the reinsman. 4 Bannock, owned by Dean Collins and Diane Elliott. Dean Collins will be aboard. 5 Buck Hill, owned by Sturgill Lohman and Walter Miller, and the driver is Justin Hall. 6 Eternal Force, owned by Scott Glennon and Mark Ader. Jeff Fout in the bike. 7 KL Sharpshooter, owned by Betsy Pierce, driven by Mike Wilder. Number 8 is Let's Rock, owned by Michael Etter and Jimmy Atkins with Dan Ross. 9 is Hector Spector, owned by Darby's Edge Stable with a driver change to Brad Henners. 10 is Princeton Spur, owned by Charles Autry. Randy Tharps will be in the sulky. 6 minutes till post time. And there they go. They're off, and Pacing Dancing Tricks takes the lead. Bannock between horses, Eternal Force, the late lever on the outside. Stony Ford Ken, who took all the money tonight, is in the 4th. Rushing up on the far outside, Hector Spector to 5th. They're on their way to the quarter-mile pole, Princeton Spur. Heat Resistant, Buck Hill, followed by KL Sharpshooter and Let's Rock, and they're living up to this name right now as they drive by the opening quarter here in 26-2. Bannock on the outside gets the lead. Dancing Trick settles in there second, followed by the early pace setter Eternal Force to 3rd, and he now comes to the outside. Underway, Stony Ford Kent, Hector Spector stacked up 3rd over. Princeton Spur will stay a while along the pylons. Driving up on the far outside as they hit the half-mile pole. Let's Rock as they move into the halfway station in 55-2. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Bannock is there by a head. Eternal Force wheels up on the outside second. Here comes Stony Ford Kent to 3rd. Dancing Tricks in 4th. Still on the outside, Hector Spector. After that to 10, Princeton Spur, wide and driving, Buck Hill. KL Sharpshooter. Let's Rock on the outside. Heat Resistant is on the rail by 3/4 in 1:24-2. Moving around the far turn, Eternal Force. Right alongside Stony Ford Kent. Dancing Trick still has some kick along the rail. Up on the far outside, Buck Hill, they straighten away. Eternal Force continues to lead doggedly. Stony Ford Kent alongside. Dancing Tricks went a huge one. Had Bob decides it. Stony Ford Kent getting up. Now official, here comes 3, Stony Ford Kent, 5-year-old bay gelding by Cura out of Hometown Innocence. Owned by Kelly Darrow of Dublin, Eileen Bainter of Columbus, trained by Virgil Morgan Jr., giving David Miller his first victory on the card. The mile here, 1:53-4 and a lifetime best. For number 3, Stony Ford Kent in the 9th. 3-6 exacta, $12.60 on the try, $94 even. Windows are now up and on race 10. 10th race. Brad Hanner's driving 1 Thursday. Brad Hanner's driving the 1 Thursday. Randy Tharps will drive the 6, Call Me Nuke. Randy Tharps will drive the 6, Call Me Nuke. Post time in 13 minutes at 9:56. Here's the field for the 10th, 1 Thursday, owned by Keith and Donna Ross. Driver change, Brad Hanner's 2, Springtime Romeo. Owned by Dorothy McIntosh with Jeff Fout, 3, Light Source. Owned by Weco Investments and Tony Clyer with Rainsman Chip Noble. 4 is Rolling the Dice, owned by James Shunk with Dave Hawk aboard. 5, Gifted Cowboy, owned by Glenn and Norma Huber, Mike Wilder in the bike. 6, Call Me Nuke, owned by Ron Gorby, and the driver is now Randy Tharps. 7, Blue Ribbon, owned by Joe Sobraco and Don Latore with David Miller. And number 8 is Sharp Attack, owned by Southern Hills Stable. Dan Ross will be in the sulky. There's 7 minutes till post time. Let's head back down to the apron and the fans' man, Jason Settlemore. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing for the lead. Gifted Cowboy. Blue Ribbon is off stride. The 7 is on a break. They're down the back stretch, and there goes Call Me Nuke. Gifted Cowboy, Call Me Nuke with the rush on the outside. Here comes Sharp Attack and Thursday along the rail. Fought up by the other 3-year-old Springtime Romeo. Light Source is loving this one already as they move into the quarter-mile pole. After that, Rolling the Dice in the breaker, Blue Ribbon. Solid opening quarter here of 27 seconds flat. Moving past the stands to the half-mile pole, Call Me Nuke is there by a length. Sharp Attack right alongside in second, Gifted Cowboy in third, followed by the 3-year-olds Thursday and Springtime Romeo. Light Source is about ready. Rolling the Dice, and Blue Ribbon has fought his way back into it. A torrid tempo here in the 10th. These alliteration pacers get to the half in 55 and 3. Jumping off stride, that was the outside 8. Sharp Attack as they straighten out down the back stretch. Call Me Nuke continues to stride clear. Gifted Cowboys coming like a pocket rocket. Thursday along the rail, driving up on the outside. Springtime Romeo, Light Source closing in the center. With a rush on the outside, Rolling the Dice, Blue Ribbon and far back after that costly break. Sharp Attack in 124 and 2. Wide open on the far turn. 4 horses are across the track, vying for command. Springtime Romeo up on the outside, Rolling the Dice. Light Source now comes to the extreme outside, racing through the stretch. Springtime Romeo, Rolling the Dice on the outside, rolls right to command. It's Rolling the Dice, going to be tight for second. Here's Light Source. Here comes the unofficial winner of tonight's 10th race, number 4, Rolling the Dice, a 4-year-old bay gelding by Arch Place out of Overexposure. Owned in Overland Park, Kansas by James Shunk, trained by Kent Sherman, given a well-judged drive by Dave Hawk. We cover the mile here in 153 and 2. Number 4, Rolling the Dice, the winner. Next post will be in 15 minutes at 10:16. Next post in 15 minutes. Race 11 tonight. Randy Tharps driving 7, Color Me Best, and 8, Gleave. The driver will be Brett Miller. Post time 10:16. Native Dragon, owned by the Bay Racing Stable with Brad Henners. 2, Grampy's Accolade, owned by Cindy Stein, Aaron Mulrooney, and Tom Brennan, driven tonight by Dave Hawk. 3-Hour Big Cat, owned by Diamond Chip Stable, and Ron Anderson, driven by Chip Noble. 4, Noble Hotshot, owned by Roger Reed and Neil Long with Jeff Fout aboard. 5 is Boots Burner, owned by Daniel Boggs, and a driver change to Dan Ross. 6 Yankee Buccaneer, owned by Terry Gillen with David Miller. Number 7 Color Me Best, owned by the Hoffler Brothers Racing Stable with Randy Tharps. 8 is Gleave, owned by Alex Spence Jr. Driver change, Brett Miller. That's the field for the 11th race. Post time in 6 minutes. And there they go. They're off and pacing from between horses. Grampy's Accolade takes the lead. Native Dragon along the rail with a rush on the outside. Here comes Gleave. Back on the attack early on. Our Big Cat ranging up on the outside. Boots Burner, Yankee Buccaneer, the 3-year-old Noble Hot Short, and the other one Color Me Best. Pretty good tempo here as they move into the quarter-mile pole. Grampy's Accolade is there by a length and a half. Gleave on the outside now ducks to the pylon second. 26 and 4, an eye-opening quarter. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Grampy's Accolade is out on top for Dave Hawk. Gleave got the 2-hole, duck and tuck. Native Dragon third, followed by Boots Burner in fourth. Ranging up on the outside, Our Big Cat and Yankee Buccaneer has just moved to the outside. Underway, Noble Hot Short and Color Me Best around the paddock turn to the half-mile pole. Grampy's Accolade continues to lead the way, geared down now in 57 flat. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Grampy's Accolade by a length and a half. Gleave on his heels in second. Here comes the train led by Our Big Cat up on the outside. Yankee Buccaneer is being taken right along. Native Dragon, Noble Hot Short is into the flow. Color Me Best is up on the outside, and Boots Burner side by side and stride for stride as they race into three quarters. Grampy's Accolade leads the way in 126 and 3. In between horses, Our Big Cat. Yankee Buccaneer 3 deep. Noble Hot Short 4 deep on the far outside. Native Dragon locked in forever. Gleave is also looking for racing room. Jumping off stride in along the rail. That was the 2. Grampy's Accolade. Ahoy, mateys! Here comes Yankee Buccaneer to get the lead. It's Yankee Buccaneer, Noble Hot Short, and here's the other 3-year-old Color Me Best. Yankee Buccaneer, 5-year-old bay gelding by Tyler's Mark out of Alert Yankee. Owned in Massillon, Ohio by Terry Gillen, trained by Jeff Cox, driven by David Miller. To cover them out here in 155 and 1, take his third in a row. 6 Yankee Buccaneer the winner. That's a double tonight for David Miller. Exacta returns $41.80, $41.80 and the try, $269.80. Post time in 15 minutes at 10:35. Next post in 15 minutes at 10:35. Randy Tharps driving 4 Alante Spur and scratch 5 Go Right for Siren. Post time in 15 minutes at 10:35. For tonight's 12th and final race, Kathy Hawk brings them out. 1 Dance on Air, owned by Steve Crisp. Brett Miller drives. 2 Deer's Prodigy, owned by Kathy Ann Hawk with Dave Hawk. 3 No Flat Tax, owned by Larry Columbia Jr. with Brad Hanners. Number 4 Alante Spur. Alante, owned by Alex Spence Jr. Driver changed to Randy Tharps. 5 Go Right for Siren scratched. 6 Freight Damage, owned by Carl Seymour with Chip Noble. Number 7 is Nuclear Eclipse, owned by Mel Riviello and Randy Owens with David Miller. And number 8 is Kind of Stylish, owned by Paul and Janet Huffman. Mike Wilder will be in the sulky. Field for tonight's 12th race, 7 minutes till post time. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing from between horses. No Flat Tax. Nearest the rail, Deer's Prodigy. There goes Freight Damage on the outside to get the lead. Freight Damage outleads everyone tonight, takes over by a length and a half. No Flat Tax is going to bypass the hole, drive up on the outside. Deer's Prodigy, Dance on Air, gapping into fourth, midway on the turn. Nuclear Eclipse, fouled up on the outside by Olante Spur and Kinda Stylish, 28 and a fifth. Last the clear, taking over command, No Flat Tax. Deer's Prodigy right back to him. No Flat Tax by a length. Deer's Prodigy is up on the outside second. Along the rail, the early pace setter, Freight Damage. Dance on Air looking pretty good so far. He'll take Nuclear Eclipse along with him. After that, Olante Spur and Kinda Stylish. They're at the half-mile pole. Yet the clear on the outside after that big move. Deer's Prodigy and 57 and 1. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. There goes Dance on Air with a rush. Three are now heads apart for the lead. It's Deer's Prodigy, Dance on Air, No Flat Tax, can't go on. Underway, Nuclear Eclipse up on the outside. Olante Spur, Freight Damage got stopped. Kinda Stylish seventh on the outside as they race to three-quarters. With the white hood, it's Dance on Air. Still on the outside, Nuclear Eclipse fighting back Deer's Prodigy. 126 and 3. Deer's Prodigy regains the lead. Dance on Air flattens out a bit. Up on the far outside, Nuclear Eclipse. Olante Spur, Kinda Stylish. Now makes a big move on the far outside as they straighten away. Nuclear Eclipse brings them on home. Olante Spur, Kinda Stylish on the far outside. Deer's Prodigy is still hanging around for part of it. Deep stretch, Nuclear Eclipse. Olante Spur, Deer's Prodigy, and Kinda Stylish. Here comes the winner of the 12th. It's now official. The winner is Nuclear Eclipse, a 4-year-old bay gelding by Nuclear Age out of Ravens Misty. Owned by Mel Riviello of Huber Heights and Randy Owens of Lebanon. Trained by Randy Owens. Driven tonight by David Miller to give him his third victory on the program. The mile here, 157 and 2, 7 Nuclear Eclipse, the winner. Final pick 3 is 109.20. Exacta 106.80. Super 26.37.60. Evening. On your way home, please drive carefully. We'll go again tomorrow with full card simulcasting, free parking and admission all day. Monday live at 7:35. There will be well over $50,000 in the